Hey guys, let's move on to our next topic. In this topic, we are going to see about the variables and what are the rules we have to follow while creating a new variable. What are the good practices and what are things you should avoid while creating a variable. These are the things we are going to see in this chapter. So, let me go back to what we have seen previously. Okay, so this is what we have seen last. This is my first tab from this external JS from where uh, this is getting logged. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is maybe I'll get another requirement saying like this is my second JS from my app. Again, this is going to log here. So instead of changing directly here and the logic, I mean this, I just consider this console.log is the logic. Maybe in future scenarios we'll see there might be some very worthy business logics under here. So in that case, if you want to change a string very frequently, instead of hard coding it here, what we can do is can arrange a variable called as my app. Okay, so here I'm going to pass this string actually. Okay, so and instead of this hard coded value here, I'm going to pass my variable without this quotes because quotes will not come under variable. So if I save this, I'm going to get the same result. So I will just change it from variable. Okay, so this is how I assign a value to this variable. So variable is basically a container. You can imagine that as a container in which your data gets stored. Uh, this will, I mean, this will help in having multiple business logics and complex things without having hard coded it directly in our business logic. We can have it in a separate variable and we can do it. Okay, so what are the things that we can store it in a variable? So that is one main part here. For now, we have added a string for this variable. So this takes us to the place where we have to find out what are all the data types that will be supported in JavaScript. So in JavaScript, there are five things that will be supported by default. Okay, so first one is the string, second is the number, third is the boolean, and fourth is undefined, and fifth is null. So I'll be explaining these things for you. So as you know, we have already seen string. So let me go to number here. I'll just say 23 my age. So if I log this here and if I go to oops, I mean you could see this error, right? My app is not defined because we are calling my app, but our variable is my age. So I'll just pass it here, and if I save it, it should print 23. So we got this error, right? So maybe in our future classes in our next module I'll clearly explain how to debug this JavaScript to understand how this flow is going, and if an error comes like which we recently got, how to debug it and how to fix it. That we'll see in the later part, in which we'll have some pretty much good complex business logics. Okay, so we have seen number also. So let's move on to the boolean. There are two things that is supported in boolean as usual in any language. We have true and we have false. Is married is false. So if we paste it here and save it, okay, so we would have got this false now. So I hope you guys are following me up here. um, Also you can code along with me, it will be easier for you guys. Okay, so we have covered three, and The fourth one and the fifth one is somewhat similar. So what is undefined and what is null? I mean, the variable in which the data is not yet assigned is called as undefined or null. So there is a slight change between, I mean, slight difference between undefined and null, that we will see in the later part. So for now, you just have it in mind, like undefined and null is the state where data, I mean, information or a value is not assigned to a particular variable. How we can understand it is, maybe in this case, if I don't supply any value to is married, and if I try to call this in the console log, it is going to show me undefined. Okay, so for now the value is not there for this is married. Got it, right? So as I have already told you guys, so we will be seeing the difference between undefined and null maybe in a later class. Okay, so let's move on to our next thing, which is how to name a variable. I strongly suggest you guys, I strongly advise you guys, always keep a meaningful variable name. For example, if you are going to pass your number, I mean name and number, uh, my name, let me have it here also, my name equals Chandru, and var my age equals 29. Okay, so you might be seeing a slight change in what I have done. Now I'm trying to console two things. One is my name and my age, but in my name I have added double quotes here. So now you should be knowing, like there is no difference while having this in double quotes or single quotes, but string is always a string. But now recent programming model or programming trend is that mostly people go for a single quote. That's why if I try to save it, Prettier automatically converts my double quotes into single quotes. So there is no issue for you in, I mean, giving it as a double quotes or single quotes. Okay. So if I print my name and age, if I go to browser and in the console log, it should be showing Chandru and 29. Let me try to refresh it again. Let's wait for it to update there also. It's loading. Just give it a second. Maybe I'll try to close it and open it again. I'm cutting the lights over here and I'm trying to go live again. So it opens up my. Okay, so now it is printing like Chandru and 29. So what I was trying to say is, you always give your meaningful name. In this case, you can even give X and Y here and pass X and Y. It is going to work. It is not going to show any errors or something. Just a second. It got stuck in the breakpoint. Oh, something wrong with my live server. Okay, so it has passed my X and Y. But again, I always recommend to have a meaningful name instead of X and Y here. So always go for a proper name here. Okay, now it is working fine. Okay, so Chandra and 29 is printed here. So if I change this to 28, it should reflect. Yes, it is reflecting. So that is one good thing while naming a variable. So the next point would be what are the things we should avoid. Okay, and before that, I wanted to add one more point here. Okay, so if you have noticed my previous, I mean the variable names declaration, should be seeing if I am going for two letter variables, for example my name or my age or my address. In that case, I would have gone for my in small m and name in capital N. Here my m small m and a is capital. So this is what is called as camel case. So there are so many rules and regulations for writing a camel case variable. I'll say a few. Okay, so for example, if you're going for my first birthday, if your variable name is my first birthday, you should write it like my first birthday. Your first letter should be, I mean, first letter should be small. After that, it should be followed with caps. If it is going to be a single letter word like district, it should always be simple small case. But if you're going to address something like a constant which will not change, or some how to say uh, some proper nouns or something like that, for example MLA, MP, or any acronyms like VIP or something like that, acronyms and all, you should always go for capital letters. VIP, something like MLA. Okay, so these are some of the few things should be very much clear while giving a variable name. It's not going to be an error or something while having a different notation or something, but usually this is a good way to write a variable, so that people who come after your programming, and if someone is going to carry your code on their own, they should not feel any difficulties. If you are giving X and Y as a name, it will be hard for anyone to follow up your code. This will help you in code review as well as the person who is going to work next on your code. Okay. So now we'll see what are things which is not allowed in JavaScript. Okay. So I'll try to create a variable starting with a number 7 year. This is directly showing me error. What's the error? An identifier keyword cannot immediately follow a numeric literal. So this 7 is not allowed here. So if I remove it, it is going to work. Okay. So and number, I mean, can be like this, but it should not start with a number. Okay, so this is one thing here, and one more thing is variable new year, you should not have any special characters at the start, at the end, not anywhere. This is going to throw error. Okay, so only a couple of special characters are allowed, and those are dollar and underscore. Only these two special characters are allowed while naming a variable. So I hope you would have got any good ideas for naming the variables and these things. So this takes me to the next topic, in which we will be seeing what dynamic typing is, and we'll also see about variable mutation and type caution. These three things we'll be seeing in our next video.